everybody. Welcome back to our channel. I'm Bree.
And I'm Evan.
And this is Reality Check TV. Here's where we discuss some of our favorite reality shows to watch together as a couple. So if you love reality TV like we do, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we post a new review.
With the quickness.
Welcome back, even though I've already said it. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I'm having an amazing week. I'm going to go out and put my apology out now. I am losing my voice. Your girl went to go see Beyonce this week, so it's going in and out. It's going in and out because definitely I was acting up at the concert. So we're going to try to speed this up, but I hope you guys are having a great work week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sending you positive vibes and love and light to all of you guys. First and foremost, we want to continue to thank our followers and our new subscribers. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Reality Check family. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys are enjoying our content thus far. And that goes for our old subscribers as well, our old family members. I hope that you guys are continuing to stick with us. We thank you. We're grateful for you guys. So we're just here to do another review of Ready to Love.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Let's
get into it. Okay, so the episode starts in the ladies' lounge. It is ladies' week.
Mm-hmm.
The women are deciding who is going to go home and who is not ready to love. So every week so far it's been somewhat of a theme. And this week the theme is to discuss the things that put you at pause, right? Like we're going to call it that. What are some red flags that you're starting to notice, or what are some things that is stopping everybody from moving forward with their main connections? So all of the ladies went out on dates this week. I will say it was a lot of dates. It was a lot of ladies that did some double dates. So it was a lot going on. We're not going to have to hit every last one because a couple of them was a little boring. But there were some highlights and there were some interesting revelations that we noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also been some change of heart. I know for me, with a couple of the guys that I thought was, they were doing well. But there's some red flags that have immediately popped up that I want to talk about. So the first date that takes place is Aries and Phil. Now, I still like Phil. So far, he hasn't done anything just yet, but they seem to be getting along, I guess. They seem to have a connection. They talk about what are some things that put them at pause with the other person. They really don't have one. I mean, Aries just kind of repeats what she has been saying. It's very clear that her priority is her kids. Whoever that she's going to build a relationship with, they have to accept her kids. She has 2 boys. We've talked about this before. And so they talk a lot about that. It works because Phil also has a son, I believe, either a son or I think he has a son. It's really not that important, but I will say that he does have 1 child. And so she has 2 boys. So, he's like, I'm fine with blending families and I can definitely accept your boys.
I forget Phil's even here. Phil doesn't seem to get a lot of camera time for some reason. But I can understand though her I guess I'll say, I don't know if Tommy said for them to express their doubts. I think that's what he was doing. But I think for her, is trying to find a leader for her 2 boys speaks loud. She definitely wants a man that's going to accept her boys, as well as, like I said, try to be a good role model for them, trying to show them, the type of man to be. I think it's interesting because for her to say that, I wonder, I guess her child's father, like, is he like their role model? Does he fit those things that she's looking for in a leader? Like,
I don't know. It's not really, we're not going to spend too much time on Aries and Phil. There really wasn't much there. I just hope that it works out. I hope that we continue to see more from them and get to know them a little bit better as a whole. Okay, another date that I want to just go ahead and get out the way that doesn't require a lot of conversation is all of the dates that Marvin went on. Like at this point, like nobody cares. And just again, this is just our opinion. I said this before. I say it every video. He needs to go home. There was, to be honest, I don't even understand why he was invited onto the show. He doesn't want to be in a monogamous relationship. Unless you had a woman on the show that was into the same thing, I don't understand what the point was necessarily. I mean, I guess it is to see if, there would be a woman that would be open to exploring what that looks like, what his lifestyle, the whole um dominatrix, dominant, he's a dominant, that whole lifestyle, what that really means. And maybe you will find some women that are curious about it, but I just feel like the women that are part of this process this season, no. And I feel like Lee specifically keeps forcing it. If I'm not mistaken, it seems like Lee has went on the most dates with Marvin. And it's just a waste of time. Like she's not into it. I can tell that she was trying to give him a chance, but no, sometimes you just take people for who they are. Like he said it from the very beginning that this was the type of things that he was into. Let's just move on. That's clearly not what you want. So I just felt like it was a waste of time. But when he went on a date with Kat, Kat asked him the question that every woman has asked that have went on a date with Marvin: are you able to be in a monogamous relationship? He claims he is, but that is a lie, because in the ladies lounge at the end of the episode, he even says that he likes to see, there are times where he likes to see his partner have sex with other men in front of him. That's not monogamy.
Yeah, and he said that to one of the women over the phone. I forgot which one.
Yeah, it's not monogamy. Like that's not what you want. And at this point, it's like, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But let's not waste each other's time. And I think they added him to the show to add a little bit of a shock value, like a shock factor, and it wasn't needed. It also seems like a lot of the things that he says in these dates is all based off of what he thinks the women want to hear, which it seems like most of the men are playing that type of game. But it's just, people can see right through it. The women can see right through it. Like, it's goodbye.
I just think it's interesting because both Kat and Lee, when they asked Marvin their questions, both of them did not believe any of his answers.
Another pointless date to kind of mention, we have Janelle. She goes out with Q. They already have a strong connection. That seems to be they're each other's number one connection, if you let them tell it. So they're taking this opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better. And actually, I'm going to correct myself. I personally think that Herbert is Janelle's number one connection, because she made a comment in this episode about how Herbert is more marriage material or husband material versus Q, because Q is a lot younger than her. So I'm pretty sure that the age thing is one of the things that makes her a little bit hesitant with proceeding with Q. And that's fair. It is what it is. I can see that. But it does seem like he was extremely interested into Janelle. But they had a chance to have more of a deeper conversation. And she did tell him that he was adopted, or she was adopted. And, that was just an opportunity again for them to just get a stronger bond and to actually have conversation with some substance and just something that was beyond the flirting.
And she did add to that she would be open. She asked him would he be open to adoption in the future, because she says adoption is something that she's passionate about.
Yeah, because she was adopted. Yeah. So it all made sense.
And Quentin did say he was open, but it's easy to say right then and there. But hope he was telling the truth.
Yeah. Okay, so last of the most insignificant dates, I would say, would be Kira and Herbert. So Herbert comes over Kira's house. She cooks for him. Kira has this big old dog that was too much for me, but Herbert was, very nice, and he brought the doggy a little toy, so that was cute. But they have an opportunity to have a deeper conversation.
She felt like one thing that put her on pause with Herbert is, I guess, his nonchalant aura she feels he has. She feels like that's rubbed into his communication. And she has said that she really does want him to step it up in that department. And she did ask him as well, like, she said a question and his answer made it sound like he had all these connections. And she was like, "You got all these connections. Am I in your top three?" And Herbert laughed and said, "Yeah, you are, but I really don't think she is." That really looked like a uncle niece little dinner date, if you ask me.
Yeah, there was a point where Kiera wanted to do a TikTok. And Herbert was a good sport about it. They looked like they were having fun. I will say that Herbert is he seems like he's just kind of like a big teddy bear. We all kind of know what that phrase means. And he enjoys to have fun too and laugh and make jokes and just have a good time. And Kira, one thing that I will give her is that it's obvious that she's a good time, right? Like she wants to be the center of attention. She wants to dance. She wants to laugh. She wants to just have a good time. And so it looks like when you're on a date with her, you guys will have fun. And if you're not on her level, I think that is one of the red flags for her. And I think she even mentioned that with Marvin. It's like kind of like, is there anything else there? Where's that personality? So it was cute. Like I said, he was a good sport about it. At first, when I first saw the episode, I was a little like, I mean, this is very young millennial Gen Z of you. Why are we doing TikToks? like, why are we doing TikToks on a date? Like, let's not do this. But again, after seeing him smile about it and be a good sport, I was like, well, if it works, it works. She's being herself, so it is what it is. But it was kind of giving like babysitter or like homegirl, homeboy vibes. And so, I don't know what's gonna come of this date. So I am very curious what he is going to say next week when the guys are in power to eliminate one of the women. So we'll see.
I'll be honest. I truly, in the beginning when he said that she called him over for dinner, I truly feel like it's kind of forced. Like I feel like she's trying to find a connection because I feel she doesn't have one there.
I feel the same way.
I don't feel she has one. From what I can remember episodes ago, was it when they were playing like they were indoor playing something, and I think it was Red who picked her up, and her and Janelle kind of got a little upset. I really felt like Red was really her possibly only connection. But of course, Red is on the couch now. I didn't really see her connect with
Not
nobody
really,
else.
because it didn't go past that episode in that scene. Like we didn't see anything go past that because anything that happened after that, she wasn't really talking to Red. Which hopefully she picked out what we saw as viewers and the other ladies that he was an idiot. So there was nothing there, but I do agree. I don't feel like Kira has a genuine romantic connection with any of the guys. I don't. And I think that she's setting herself up for that. But we're going to get to Kira. Yes, y'all remember back in review 1 when we did our first video of this season, we did a list of green people, the yellow people that kind of put us at pause. Like we don't really know. We need more information from them. And then we had the red zone, the red flag people that was just off it. We not feeling them, right? Well, I was being nice and I put Kira in my yellow era. I was like, she has a bubbly personality. I don't really have women that act the way she does in my personal life. But she seemed bubbly. I like bubbly people, right? Like I have bubbly people in my life with bubbly personalities. But Kira, I don't really have people that act like Kira in my life, right? And y'all know what I mean by this. But I wanted to keep an open mind. Just like how I'm pretty sure most of the guys that are part of this process was trying to do, right? That's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was not against Kira when she asked Q about or questioned him about him dating white women, only dating white women, and white women being his preference, because that's a big, like, that's an important factor. She didn't question him about only dating white women, but if that was his preference. Now, in the Black community, we all know, especially when it comes to Black men that date women outside of their race, specifically clear women, it comes with a certain mindset and a certain personality. So with her saying she was just getting the vibe, we all was like, okay, well, clearly he's saying something or moving in a particular way that's making her question these things, right? But there was nothing really there, right? Like, nobody confirmed or denied except for the tequila girl that left like night 2 or day 2. Besides her, nobody else was there to confirm or deny what she was saying. And nobody else was picking up on those vibes. Now, this whole process is full of Black people. And so I think that was alarming at first. I was like, like, nobody picked up on this. And I was concerned about that. Because I'm like, we all know those type of men, they say certain things, they move in a certain way, they have certain beliefs. So it would be alarming if no other Black woman but Kira was able to pick that out. But I also was like, well, Kira also, it seems like she aligns more with white people. And she confirmed that by saying most of her friends are white. When she confirmed that, I was like, wow, okay. So when you made the accusation about Q, you even made the comment, was like, well, you know, like, I would be the closest thing in here to white. And the way she said it was like as if she was just so proud. Like, I just didn't understand what she really meant by it. Or I'm being sarcastic. I know what she meant by it. But it was a little bit of a turnoff. So I feel like for her to go out on a date with Morier, not to get to know him or to allow him to get to know her and to be able to, break down those walls, she decided to go on a date with him just to confront him about him questioning her Blackness, just like how she questioned Q's Blackness. And I'm going to be honest, because that's exactly what you did. You questioned his Blackness. Men that date only white women and exclude Black women, exclude women that are their race, we all know what they are. We all know what category they fall under. And pro-Black ain't one of them. It's very anti-Black. If you exclude Black women as a desired partner, strictly off of the fact that they're Black, that they're the same race as you, it's very anti-Black. Not saying if you want to date outside your race, that's your business. Do what you want. Do what you want. I no longer fight that fight, but do what you want. I don't even go there with y'all no more. But if you want to exclude women that look like your mama, your sisters, your cousins, people that birthed you, it's very anti-Black. Stand by it. So that's what you accused him of. And now that somebody is questioning, and what I feel like is in a very respectful way, because I don't think the way you asked Q the question was respectful. And I said that 2 videos ago. I felt like there was a way that you asked, because I asked the question all the time, or used to ask the question all the time when I was dating, because it is something that is important to me. So Morier and I are on the same page. If he's really like, he's into his community, he's into his culture, he's into his people, he loves him some Black women, he loves him some Black people, some Black food, everything. And that means a lot to him. And he wants to be able to raise kids and have a wife that believes the same thing that he believes and values the same things that he values. There's nothing wrong with it. And so for her to paint a picture like something is wrong with it, That pissed me off. And then tried to flip it to make it seem like he was questioning her blackness was the same thing that you did to Q. And I don't like any of this conversation. I don't like any of it. If we are on a black dating show, I was hoping that we wouldn't have to have this type of conversation because we are all black people looking for love with other black people. So I was just hoping that during their process of getting people onto the show, their casting process, during the casting process, that they would ask these type of questions. Like, is black people your preference? Black women, black men? Like, I would really hope so. So we wouldn't have to have these conversations or these dialogues on TV. Like, because it was just annoying me. It was really annoying me. I'm very curious to see how you guys feel about it because it put a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like Janelle at all. But when they got to the ladies' lounge and Janelle and Jessica got her ass together, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of here for it. Now, Janelle was doing a bit much. I don't like the way she approached the situation either. But I was here for it because they show or they brought up the fact that she's made comments like, oh, that's too black for me. Or this is the comment that she made, I think the first ladies lounge about how, yeah, I'm the closest thing to white. Like, I'm the closest, like, personality wise, that is. I just feel like that was real. Now, I am going to question you. If we're dating, I'm going to question you as well. Do you prefer black men? Is that your preference? Why can't I ask you the same question? Because you was throwing out accusations about somebody else. So that's my feelings on it. What you got to say?
I just thought it was interesting after the little, and I'm not even going to call it a date. I'm just going to call it a confrontation because her setting this up with Mario had nothing to do with her claiming that she wanted him to get to know her more. It wasn't that, or she didn't want to know him. It was the fact that she wanted to defend herself.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting because at the end she said that she kind of felt like he prejudged her.
Yes.
And she kind of felt, that was disrespectful. And he made a comment too saying that he felt like this was a slap in the face. Like, me coming at you, like, I ain't come at you wrong. I'm questioning something. This is a dating show. I have my questions. Mm-hmm. And for her, she just got defensive. And I don't know if it hit her little pride or maybe she's somebody who does not like to be questioned.
No, I think this topic, I think she's probably been questioned about this her whole life. Mm-hmm. Because she is a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman at that. Mm-hmm. And for her, because she said majority of her friends are white. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure she's been questioned about this based off of who she socializes with, mm-hmm. her social circles, where she goes, the clubs and bars, the types of clubs and bars that she likes to hang out at, from the schools that she chose.
Well, I'm not surprised because for her being a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, like 90% of the cheerleaders are white on Dallas Cowboys.
So she's just been surrounded around white culture, yeah. It also seems that she was raised right. And not so much of a diverse
atmosphere.
Right. Like that's clear. And mm-hmm. so it probably did trigger her. Yeah. And it probably pinched a nerve because she was probably always questioned. And I'm not taking that away from her. And I can understand that. But you did the same exact thing to Quentin. Yep. And that's my point. Like you said how Morier questioned you and he didn't even question her. What he did was he brought up his concerns mm-hmm. during the elimination.
And he had fair concerns.
Right. And he also was speaking for the guys.
Because they probably said the same thing.
Right. Like, so the way he came at you was completely different to me than how she came at Q. Yeah. It was like you seem like the black guy that only dates white women.
And key thing is you said seem. And the thing
is, you was prejudging.
You were prejudging him. Right. Just like you said Marie prejudged you.
Right. That didn't make any sense to me.
Because she claimed Marie judged her character.
Right.
And Marie claimed that, it was a slap in the face. And, he said at the end, I think with all this going on, I just don't see nothing coming from this.
Right.
And and I felt like he was not going to be interested in her anyways,
Right.
because despite what he felt, he's going off of his conversations
Right.
and what he sees, because like I said, he's there.
Right.
And so I don't feel she can say all she wants. He's judging her character. No, he's taking observations. He's listening to you, and in his mind, he's able to put it all together and be like, "This is it.
This is concerning.
This is concerning."
And that's what those are the type of conversations that we're supposed to be having at this point of the process, is bringing up those concerns. Hence why that was the theme this week. So it was a lot. Another thing, just really quick, that I want to mention, my whole life, the term pro-Black has been thrown at me, thrown at a lot of people that are pro-Black, that believe in Black people and value who we are, our existence, know who we are, find beauty and Blackness, and all of that good stuff. The term pro-Black has been used a lot, and I've seen it in comments of like other people's videos and like other reviews. It's been used as if it's like a bad thing. That is the weirdest shit to me in the entire world. It was weird to me growing up, and it's weird to me now, because if you're not pro-Black, then what? Anti-Black? That shit is weird. That shit is weird. And the way we throw it around, or the way people throw it around, other Black people, about, oh, you're just so pro-Black. Like, what is that? I don't understand why you're saying that. Like, that's a bad thing. And so, no, Kira, I don't believe that he wanted you to be freaking, Coretta Scott King out here. I really don't. I don't think he wanted you to be on the front lines of every Black Lives Matter march. I think what he's saying is a foundation of the Black family and raising his kids in Black culture and finding the beauty in embracing and celebrating the beauty in Blackness and Black culture is something that means something to him. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we're not going to paint this whole situation like he said something wrong, because nothing was said wrong on his end. I'm only speaking for Moria. And I'm going to leave that on that, because I'm not going to talk too much about race with the ignorant people on the internet. I just can't. I can't take that.
So for one of the other dates, Jessica actually showed up and popped up at Chris's job. He was at a construction site, and she brought him lunch, and they ended up having lunch, and I guess I would say a prototype home.
It's one of his construction
sites. One of his
sites.
little construction sites. And the main thing that I got from this conversation that I thought was pretty interesting, all along, Chris to me has always been pretty chill. Mm-hmm. I kind of thought highly of him.
Mm-hmm. He was in our green category.
He didn't seem like he had messed with him. Like, he spoke well.
Right.
Really sounded like he was about his stuff. Mm-hmm. He opened up a bit, talking about his family, his parents, the whole, what's it called, Nigerian wedding, like how you set up the wedding. He was very transparent. Arranged marriages. Yeah. I like the fact he was pretty open. Mm-hmm. But what got me and kind of tripped me up was when he talked to Jessica, he was talking about the type of communication he would love to see from her. And pretty much he wanted her to alter a certain communication aspect about herself. Mm-hmm. In which he said he kind of wanted her to kind of be more soft-spoken and less assertive. And I told myself, you're telling a grown-ass woman at 37, 38, who owns her own business, and mind you, I think the key thing is grown, and you're not even together, you're just going on dates, that I need you more soft-spoken and less assertive. And, the assertive thing tripped me out, because I'm trying to say assertive. Like, what you mean?
You know what he means. He means aggressive, and he didn't want to use the term aggressive.
Well, there was a flashback clip, too, where it showed him having a conversation with her and how she responded. It kind of took him back, because I guess, like I said, that she was showing her emotions while she was talking.
Mind you, in that conversation, in that flashback that they showed, not one time did she raise her voice.
No. She didn't raise her
Not
voice.
one
I
time.
think he was just going off her mannerisms. And mannerisms, it's not your voice. It could be your posture, maybe how you're moving with your hands when you talk, stuff like that.
And she wasn't even doing that. It was solely based off of the fact that in that scenario, because the clip that they showed was when they were doing the improv
Mm-hmm.
class.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in a fake scenario about the car accident or something.
Mm-hmm.
And in that scenario, she said exactly how she felt
Mm-hmm.
in the little theme or whatever, or the
Yep.
scenario. She said exactly how she felt, and she was direct about it. And that's the problem. So it's not the tone, it's not the mannerisms. It was the fact that she said what she said and she meant what she said. And she also questioned him. She
Mm-hmm.
held him accountable. So that's the problem. And that's what I picked up in this scene. The problem is because he led with what would be his thing that kind of puts him at pause with Jessica. And it is the fact that he wants a soft woman. Like,
And I think it's interesting too because she made a comment too talking about communication. This is before the Chris date, where she talked about Morier. And she talked about how they have the same communication styles. And they're both very direct.
yes.
And like I said, I find it interesting because Morier has talked very highly of her.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
I like them as a couple so
yeah,
far.
and she's talking highly of them. And like I said, communication's everything.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure as soon as she had this conversation with Chris, him said talking about her communication, I'm pretty sure she was thinking about Morier. He just moved up even higher on the charts.
Yeah. Yeah. But like we said, like Chris was in our green category for a while. And then it wasn't until last week. Was it last week when he was crying? With
With
Aries?
Aries, no, because I thought how long ago was the hoedown because he had to leave early.
That was a while ago. I
I
think
don't.
last week is when they went and they discussed their non-negotiables. Wasn't that the theme last week?
It could have been.
That was
I'm
the
not sure.
theme. And that was the episode that he had the conversation with Aries at his house. And when he was expressing to her about how she reminded him of his mom. I said it then. I was like, I'm not trying to question his emotions if it's genuine. I don't want to come off in that way. I don't want to be mean, but it made me feel weird. It put me at pause, and I said it then, and I explained why. It was a lot too fast, and I also wasn't 100% sure if it was genuine. I didn't know if this was a situation to manipulate Aries to like him even more, or if it was just him being overly emotional about something. Not overly emotional, let me take that out, scratch that. I don't know if it was him showing those emotions because he's still having to go through um a tough healing process. And so I don't know if he's emotionally ready for a relationship. Like, there was just a few things that was running through my mind,
Hmm.
but it put me at pause. And then this episode happens and he's having this conversation with Jessica, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, don't no, run away from him." I know. I don't understand you making the soft comment. He wants to be with a woman that's soft and that will speak to him softly. Like, no, not every situation is that. And just in the fact that Jessica hasn't come off to him as combative or with an attitude or yelling at him or anything, but she's definitely a woman that seems like she knows what she wants. She's very direct, and it seems like she has good communication. Like, Jessica comes off like she has really good communication, like the way she talks to people and just the sound of her voice alone.
Hmm.
And you can tell that she owns her own business
Hmm.
because of her personality. And I think that is not what Chris wants. I think he wants more of a woman that is way more, that comes off way more submissive across the board. Like across the board. A woman that is extremely soft spoken and doesn't speak up for themselves. Um, Chris, I really hope you are not about to be on here and you are about to really enforce the stereotype about African men. I really hope that you are not going to be one of those African men on TV that's about to enforce this stereotype about how controlling they are and aggressive and dominant and all of these other things. I really hope that you're not about to be that person. But that's what it's kind of giving. Because he also mentioned his problem too, or Jessica mentioned the thing that puts her at pause with him is his lack of communication.
Especially when he's busy.
Yes. And because he's been using that as an excuse. And she's like, well, we're all busy. We're all, entrepreneurs or working women and men. And so like we've all been making time for this process. And I don't feel like you've been taking the initiation. And instead of really receiving what she was saying, he instead flipped it and said that she has also not been reaching out. I really want to hear what you guys say about that. I will say this part of me is not going to change. I feel like I might be a little bit old school, but I personally don't feel like women in heterosexual relationships, I'm only going to speak for that. I don't feel like women should be the one chasing. That's me. They shouldn't be the one chasing. If you reach out to me, of course, if I'm interested, I'm going to reach out back. But I don't think it should be me that is initiating the conversation if we are not in a relationship. During that, I believe in courtship. I still feel like that should be a thing. And I feel like men should court women. That's how I feel about that.
I feel it doesn't have to be a majority on guys to reach out. I feel both people can really.
I didn't say majority. I didn't say majority.
Well, I just feel, like I said, if there's really chemistry there, to be honest with you, it pretty much will be an equal reach out to each other.
Yeah, I agree with
but
that.
That's honestly if there's real chemistry.
I agree.
So back to that, and mind y'all, in parentheses, if there is chemistry, I feel like naturally it's not going to be one of those things where you're worried about the other person, about who's reaching out first or anything. It's just going to come.
Again, we're talking about the beginning of a process. So let me be specific. If I meet a guy, we meet, right? The beginning of our dating, right? Our courtship. I didn't reach out. I mean, I'm just talking about what happened with us. Like, that wasn't it. Did I respond? Because I was interested. And that's what happened. Now, after a week or two, did it then like you said, it just kind of like naturally started to happen where like no, it wasn't even that. I'm not even about to sit here and lie. It was never me. You would always text me first thing in the morning, good morning.
Okay, but
have a great day. That's more so what I mean by initiation.
I mean, yeah, I did that, but during the day, there's times you hit me up first, and it could say it's like 12, 1, 2, and it's like you hit me up first saying, what you doing?
But the first and like the person to initiate conversation, because it seems like they're not talking at all. That seems to be the issue. She's saying he's not reaching out.
Well, the thing is, they've now known each other from, this show's been on how many weeks? Like, they've now known.
I don't know what in real time, they're dealing with.
Well, my thing is this. They've known each other, I'll say at least for a month. I'll give it that. At least for a month.
I don't know.
And so my thing is, if y'all, and I don't know how strong their connection actually was before this date. I don't know if they were consenting each other heavy. Because I believe Chris, for example, I believe his heaviest connections, I really felt he's in the Aries.
Yeah, and it was Jessica.
I guess he was the first one to go on a date with Kat when she got there. I always wondered, was he interested in Kat? Not really.
Yeah, he seemed interested in that date, but we didn't see anything further. And not Aries. Jessica wasn't the only one that said something about Chris's initiation and he's been using his work schedule and like being caught up at work as an excuse. And to me, that's a red flag
too. For me, I've always said this, man or woman, it doesn't matter. if you do not have time to date, please don't waste nobody time.
I agree. I agree with
And
that.
that's men and women. If you really literally, when you go to the bathroom, go on your lunch break, do whatever, if you literally do not have 12 seconds to send a text message, please stay at home with a bottle of lotion or keep your toys with double A batteries in and stay to yourself and stop wasting people's time.
The bottom line is, again, I just feel like that first few interactions and the talking and this, I really feel like the men should be really initiating. I think it also speaks volumes to, like, can you hold a conversation? So if you do, and initiating could be a good morning or in the middle of the day. Oh, are you having a good day?
Well,
Good
I've always
afternoon.
believed too. Like some people are hooked. Some people really are heavy on like good morning texts and stuff.
I don't really care.
I've always been a firm believer. It's like shit. Like whoever wake up first, like damn, say good morning to the person. Or
How do you know who wakes up first?
people know work schedules.
When you're first dating?
Y'all don't ask each other. People ask each other what they do and stuff like
No,
that.
I know, but you said, but okay, but what if it's like a week? Now you being too specific.
Because I'm a specific person. You gotta be specific.
No, I know, but I'm just telling you how our how our story started, and it wasn't me. Now, again, everybody, did I respond? Yes, I was definitely responding, but it was. I mean, I don't think I like called you first, like called you until like maybe a month into us dating, calling first
I believe it.
without oh, call me later or call me when you get home or call me when you have a moment. Without that, I'm talking about just me randomly just picking up the phone to call. I just don't that didn't happen.
Well, if you
Okay,
want
so the last date that we have to mention is the date between Sierra and Chris. This is Chris with the most recent Chris, new Chris, right?
to.
Y'all, we not even gonna go through this verbatim. All I'm gonna say is the conversation came up about Birkin bags, right? So my first issue that I had with Chris is Sierra says, this was literally her comment. I do have a thing for Birkin bags. Like that's like my thing. That's her thing. That means that's her little vice. That's something that she likes to spend her money on. That is what she said. He instantly was turned off or was like alarmed because she says that she likes Birkins. He then asked her, okay, so what happens if I'm having a bad month or something and I can't get you that Birkin? Then what? And I'm like, first of all, did anybody say that? Did anybody ask you for a Birkin? Like, why did you take it there? That was my first response. But Sierra responded and was like, yeah, I can get it myself. That's not why I'm bringing this up. She brought it up because she said that this has been an issue in past relationships that she's had with men. Because y'all know Sierra is a personal stylist. And she has said that she is a personal stylist to a lot of men of influence or famous men, rappers, ball players, whatever. So it's fair to say that she makes a pretty penny. It's fair to say it because she's talking about getting her Birkins, like her having Birkins and Chanel bags. So it seems like that has been issues when trying to establish relationships with other men because we all know how men are, especially when it comes to finances. When they feel inadequate, there's the issue. So it has been problems for her before where men feel intimidated at the fact that she can go get her own Birkin. And Chris was in this moment, Chris was doing that because what he was doing and where he was about to take it, even in his confessional, was trying to make her feel bad for wanting a Birkin bag. The fact that she can afford it on her own, which says to me, if we're in a relationship and I go get me a Birkin bag, don't ask you for nothing, then you'll then try to make me feel bad for purchasing it. mind you, bags are not my thing. That's not my personal vice. That's not something that I love to splurge on. For me, I love to splurge on experiences. So if it's a trip, that's my thing. Concerts, that's my things. I want the best seat in the house. That's where I'm going to spend the money. Another thing that I love, whether it's shoes and hair, I love to spend the money on my hair. That's my thing. I love that. Or anything dealing with the house. I love buying stuff for my house. These are just a few things. Bags is not my thing. Not even really clothes. Like, I mean, I love clothes, love fashion, but I'm always trying to look for the bargains with that type of stuff, and even shoes. So I'm gonna take that back. But when it comes to spending really like a pretty penny and me not feeling bad about it, that's trips, household stuff. Like, that's just my thing. Some people, theirs is cars. Other people, it could be bags. It could be like whatever it is. If I can afford it, that's the main topic of this story. I can afford it. Now, when you can't afford it and you are out here tricking and you ain't got it, that's you being hood rich. And that is not, I don't subscribe to that. If you cannot afford it, then that's when we judge it. But if I get my own, I'm making my own money, and I can go out here and I can spare the $50,000 for my Birkin, why can't I do that? And you're not going to make me feel bad for it because you can't afford it. So I didn't like that. I don't like when people in general, even though it seems to come a lot from men, them getting intimidated at the fact that women can take care of themselves and provide themselves with the things that they love. I'm not going to apologize for that stuff. I'm not going to apologize for my success. I'm not going to apologize for the fact that I can provide for myself. If that makes you feel less than a man, I feel like you need to then check your manhood, because that is not emasculating you in any way. What do you think about this?
They don't go together anyways.
That's all you got from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, she put out there about, certain things that she likes, especially it's pretty preferencey and it's cost a pretty penny. And all Chris heard when he heard Birkin, he probably thought of something like Gold Digger or something around the lines of she's gonna want me to buy her these purses, and I know I can't do this, and that. So he assumed in his mind that she wants him to buy a purse. Um, and he automatically stated, pretty much trying to put out there, well, what you gonna do if I can't give you the things you like? You know.
Can I ask a question though?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that he assumed that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though she was very direct with saying, I can get my own Birkin.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand the assumption. If I'm telling, it's not like she left it on the table like, oh, I want Birkin bags. That's not what she said. She said she likes them. That's the thing that she likes to have,
Mm-hmm.
and she can buy them herself. So then where is the assumption if I'm directly telling you I can get my own bags?
Oh, I'm not Chris. It's just not blind to see. He assumed it.
I know, and that's why I'm asking. I mean,
I can't
is
tell
it
you
a
that
male thing?
it's
I'm
not,
asking.
It's not a gender thing. It's a self thing. That's him.
Okay. So
It was basic math. He did not listen to what she fully just said to him. To that, I mean, to be honest with you, that's just people being sensitive. If your partner, and that's the thing, if y'all are actually a partnership, you're not going to look at just because somebody may have more money than you. You're not going to let that belittle you. Y'all are a partnership. And if that's something she has interest in, like, for example, if a guy was making a lot of money and he was buying all these expensive car parts, like, it shouldn't take her down as a woman. Just as if she, let's not even say purses, say she's into jackets and shit. Say she's buying all these expensive jackets from, like, I don't know what store, but an expensive store. If she can afford it, why not pay for something she likes? That shouldn't take away from you.
So there was a bit of a twist this week. They ended up sending 2 guys home. So there was actually a bottom 3. So in the bottom 3, we had Morier, who shouldn't have been in this situation, and Chris,
Mm-hmm.
new Chris, and Marvin. obvious, right? So y'all know who goes home. Marvin, goodbye. Like, it's enough said. We said you were next. And with Chris, I'm gonna say, y'all know I liked Chris. He was cute. He was easy on the eyes. I liked him. I thought he was a good time. But I did say when they did their little hold down, we hadn't seen much of Chris. Like, he wasn't getting a lot of
And
camera time.
and I thought it was interesting too because the women in the women's lounge really felt like he was just trying to earn votes.
Well, that's what I was going to get into, because they then show flashbacks from the hold down and up until this point, and his conversation was not good. He was selling himself.
Yeah.
He was telling whoever he was talking to, he was telling them what he thinks they wanted to hear. Like, he told Sierra, oh, he's a mod. He used to be a model and he was in fashion shows
In
because
New
he's
York.
really into fashion all of a sudden. And we know that she's a designer.
Yep.
I forgot who he was talking to about the real estate.
I'm not sure.
Because he was like, I own all of these acres and land. And like, he constantly was like, it was like he was on a job interview. So
trying to impress the ladies.
right.
And depending on who it was, he was going to try to make it more aimed towards them and their interests.
Right. Which makes me feel like
it wasn't genuine.
It wasn't genuine, and that I'm also concerned, do you really have a job? It makes me concerned.
Well, no, and some ladies will really question him about what's true about what comes out of his mouth.
That scared me alone. So yeah, Chris, I'm sorry you had to go, bro. You really had to go.
The scary thing is, despite Moria did not go home, a lot of the women voiced about homey vibes.
Yeah.
And voiced about kind of not feeling that intimate or the intimacy or romance when they hang or talk to him. So, Moria seems pretty cool. Hopefully, he lets them see a different side of him. But, next guy, elimination, it's going to be, he needs to be on alert.
Well, I don't know how many people we're down to, but they let 2 guys go home this week. Or last week. So this week, I wonder if they're going to let 2 women go.
Right.
If so, I feel like the numbers are really going to be dwindling down. Yep. And so I think we're going to be down to the wire. So it might be after this woman or the female elimination, we might be down to like 1 more guy go home and 1 more girl go home before we're down to like the finale.
Yeah. So I think 2 to 3 more episodes are left.
Right. And so I do hope that Moria is able to stick around, because he's the only guy consistently that I haven't had much of an issue with that I like. Let me not even say that anymore. I actually like Moria. I do. I think he's kind. I think he's sincere. And I like that he came into this process knowing exactly what he wants. I also like Phil. I just want to see more of Phil.
I forgot he's on the show.
Right. We're just not seeing a lot of him. And who else do we have left? We have Q left, which y'all know I've always been here with Q, but he hasn't really done much to make me be like, absolutely not. And we have Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. What lady do you think is going to go home next?
If it's 2, it's going to be Kira. Of course, Kira, because besides whatever, she just doesn't have a connection.
Yeah, that's facts.
So that's gonna be very easy.
Yeah.
After Kira, I'm gonna throw it out there. I can see possibly, and not because anything she's done, but just because how things are shaking up. Possibly Lee, because I don't see her really attached to anybody.
Q
seems more into Janelle
and Herbert.
You think Herbert has one?
No, that's who Herbert said was his connections, because Herbert and Q had the same connections.
Oh, well, I to be honest with you, I see Q more on Janelle than Lee.
I don't see Lee going home. I think Kira's definitely going home. Definitely. She's next. If they do end up eliminating 2 women, I think Kat's going home, because Kat doesn't have any connections.
I forgot about Kat.
Yeah. I think she leaving.
I forgot about Kat.
So that's my prediction.
Yeah, unless she somehow has one of these guys googly eyed.
Right.
I forgot about Kat.
Right. And if they do it the same way they did the guys with having 3 in the bottom, I think Jessica is going to be in the bottom.
I can see that.
Because her only real connection is Maria. Because the other Chris, Nigerian Chris, that's not working.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see.
But y'all be sure to hit the comments. Definitely let us know what y'all think of this episode. Definitely have conversations between yourselves. We will reply if you give us a question.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this episode, I did like the concept of Tommy telling them, pretty much, what are your doubts? Share them. Because, that's stuff that needs to be talked about a little early. So I did like that. What do you think?
About the episode?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a pretty good episode where we're weeding out all of the dead weight. And so I'm happy that we're getting down to the wire. So now we're having more serious scenes and more serious conversations.
Mm-hmm. But, we enjoy y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Reality Check TV. Y'all continue to like and subscribe, share our page with y'all friends. And, of course, I want to announce once again, we do have Huntsville coming back real soon in a couple weeks. So y'all be ready. Yes. You have any going away comments for our viewers?
No, I want to stop talking. My throat hurts so bad.
Well, we enjoy y'all. We thank y'all for y'all time. Y'all be sure to watch this week's episode. We will too, as well as we will give our review. But it's summertime. Drink y'all water and be safe in these streets.
Okay. Bye.